Hey everybody, Melissa with the Prize Foundation, and as you can see, we are back in the demo kitchen today. Before we get started, I just want to give a shout out to our sponsors, The Cottage, Coca-Cola, Eagle Distributing, Allen Energy, Remington Hotel and Suites, the Poliak Group at Morgan Stanley, and Elizabeth and Alex Kennedy. Thank you so much. We couldn't be here doing what we are doing without their support, without your support too. And one last thing, we are in the middle of Give for Good right now. So if you have the opportunity, please visit our page with Give for Good and consider making a donation to the Prize Foundation. It allows us to continue to bring you the Prize Cast. It also allows us to continue to really build, energize, incentivize all the creative entrepreneurship that's happening right here in our area and continue to encourage folks and bring folks here. And we would really, really appreciate it. So today, folks, it's Shakshuka Day. If you've never had Shakshuka, maybe you have. It's an egg dish. Surprise, surprise. I told you on the very first Prize Cast episode, eggs are a big thing in my fridge because most of the time it's fast and it's quick. And for dinner, sometimes I'm just ready to kind of do something quick and simple. So what is shakshuka? Shakshuka is an Arabic word. It actually means mixture. And basically what it is almost a tomato stew that we're gonna create and then softly cook our eggs in. And we're gonna kind of do our own thing with it because that's what we do here. All right? I've got an onion and I'm just gonna do a quick slice on this onion, all right? So slicing it, normally I would say don't cut off the bottom part, but cut off the bottom part, we're just gonna slice it. I take off the top and the bottom about maybe a ½ inch. All right, makes it super easy to peel your onion. Gotta clean up a little bit of that mess before you start cutting. All right, so for me, what I like to do when I cut an onion, a lot of people, or slice it, a lot of people will try and come in this little angle and do these little tiny wedges all the way across. I also sometimes see people cut it into rings. We're gonna do straight slices. If you cut your onion in half rings, it's totally fine, it'll work. However, the way that your onion is structured, if you cut it in rings, onion slices tend to disintegrate a little bit more while cooking. Whereas if you cut it this way from top to bottom, it sounds kind of goofy and lame, but your onion has a little bit more integrity when it cooks. And I don't want my onions to completely disintegrate in this dish. I want to kind of feel them. I want that onion texture in there. I normally take off this little piece right here because I don't want to do the weird tiny pie slivers. I pop it on its side. And I'm just going to kind of run my knife through it like that. All right. I'm just kind of going the rest of the way down my onion. And y'all, when I get right here and it gets a little bit thin and hard to hold on to, I just pop it over on its side. Finish it the rest of the way out. All right, here we go. And let me tell you, if you're one of those people that has like a bazillion odds and ends Tupperwares, just find yourself these little deli containers. You get like a cup, a 2-cup and a quart, and they're incredible. And all the lids match. You can use them all the same. All right, so we got sliced onion. The other thing I want, typically it's a tomato-based dish. I'm trying to find ways always to incorporate vegetables, so I snagged some Swiss chard today. Just like kale or any other green, just kind of slide it right off. Don't throw the stems away. I'm gonna show you something sneaky. All right, I'm just gonna kind of run my knife through this. It doesn't have to be perfect. It's greens. It'll all wilt down, all right? Okay. Way over there. All right, so for my stems, here's the deal. The texture of this, it's a little bit like celery. It doesn't have that celery flavor, but it has a little bit of that crunch. So I like to pickle them. And there's no hard rule on pickling. In fact, I'm super gonna cheat it tonight, and I am gonna just use a little extra brine from my pepperoncini jar. I already have some started. A little bit of salt. If you want, you could add a little bit of sugar and just kind of letting it hang out. And there's nothing to that. Pour a little extra out of your jar. Let it hang out about an hour. This will probably last in your refrigerator, I don't know, a week or so. Why I like this is it just adds a little bit of acidity to a dish, a little bit of crunch. For me, this dish is kind of soft. You've got soft tomatoes, and we'll have wilted greens, and maybe we'll have a little cooked down onion. And then we have like our soft eggs. So I'm looking for something just to give a little bit of crunch at the end. And I'm an acid freak, so I want something with a little bit of brightness to kind of brighten my dish, right? Okay. That's all the prep I'm gonna show you tonight because really this one is pretty much no-brainer. Here we go. So So I got a 12-inch skillet. And what I'm gonna do is cook off my onion. I still want my onions to have a little bit of texture. So rather than caramelize them and cook them slow and low and let them get nice and brown, I'm honestly gonna like blast these suckers. I'm gonna get my oil nice and hot. I'm gonna get my pan nice and hot, and I'm almost gonna get like a little bit of char to these onions. They'll cook and get a little bit softened as they cook with the tomatoes. But again, I want them to have a little bit of bite. I'm looking for something to provide a little bit of texture in this dish, all right? A little bit of oil in the pan, a couple tablespoons. So traditionally with shakshuka, you find onions, peppers, garlic, spices like paprika, cayenne, cumin, maybe nutmeg, maybe coriander. And that's great. I mean, we can make a traditional shakshuka if you want, but for me, I decided to mix it up a little bit. So I'm kind of looking for my oil, kind of skid across the pan. Shucks, maybe just a little bit longer. I know, it's kind of irritating. Always waiting on a pan. But the payoff is, you gotta cook it the way you like it. When these onions hit that pan, we're gonna get a nice hard sizzle. So here we go. Yeah, that sounds pretty good. I'm gonna give these a little shake just to make sure they are all covered. Go ahead and salt these. So, coated my onions in the oil, and now the hardest part is just to kind of leave them be for a second. And I know there's some of us out there that just want to like stir and poke at it. Same with when you're cooking protein. You set that steak or piece of chicken or piece of fish and you want to just kind of keep lifting it. Don't do it. Every time you move it, you're taking away like that little bit of heat. Just let it hang out for a second. It'll be okay. By the way, my pan is like full tilt all the way up, high heat, right? Once these guys are looking pretty good, I'm gonna add my greens real quick, wilt them ever so slightly. I'll add the tomatoes and we're gonna bring that up to a simmer, okay? Before I add my greens, I'm gonna add just a touch, and I'm a teaspoon or so, all right, ball. This is some smoked paprika. So unlike regular paprika, this has a really nice smoky character to it. Just a sweet smoked paprika. I'm gonna turn my flame down a little bit now. I've got these spices in here, and I'm really using that heat and that oil to kind of bloom those spices. All right, go ahead, adding all that pretty chard. Just gonna wilt it down a little. I'm normally looking for some way to bring a little bit of vegetable into my life, but confession, the other night I had Lucky Charms for dinner, so, you know, they were delicious. And again, all I'm doing here really, just wilting those greens down a little bit. I'm gonna add just a little bit of salt. I've salted the onions, my greens will want just a little bit, all right? What's cool about smoked paprika is it adds a really nice layer and a really nice depth to your dishes. And it's almost a really sneaky little fool trip for when you want to eat something vegetarian. To me, smoked paprika almost makes me think there's like smoked sausage or bacon in there. All right, here we go. This is looking good. I mean, this is definitely wilted enough because again, we're gonna add some canned tomatoes. Now, tonight I have, this is a can of diced tomato and then crushed tomato. I didn't have two at the same time. I'm gonna turn my heat down, all right? And you can see it doesn't take long for this to come up at all right? Again, my heat's all the way down on low now, all right? I'm gonna give it a taste just to make sure seasoned enough, if I have enough of that paprika, that smokiness, and also taste for salt. Okay, I wouldn't mind just a touch more of this. And I think just a touch more salt. Okay, so ready? Here's what we're gonna do. We've got our tomato stew right here ready to go. So I'm gonna use the back of a spoon. I'm just making little divots. Little divots. And in each little divot is kind of where my egg will go. All right? There we go. I'm just gonna crack right in there. I'm gonna give my egg a little salt. Just a touch of pepper. All All right. And last thing I'm gonna do is cover it. All right, and here about 5 minutes, 7 minutes, somewhere in there. But basically that heat is gonna be gentle, it's gonna be low, and it's gonna slowly cook those eggs. And you take them as far as you want. So if you're like me and you like that nice gooey runny yolk, cook it plus. If you're like, I'm not into that, I want my egg all the way cooked, that's okay. You can do it your way. Just cook it a little bit more. Some folks also leave this uncovered, throw it in a 350-degree oven until those eggs are done. There's more than one way to skin a cat here, but that's what we're doing. All I'm gonna do is make a really quick, like almost like a little brown butter with garlic and chili flakes. I don't know, tablespoon and a half, 2 tablespoons of butter. You can do this in a little fry pan. You can do it in a little, the world's tiniest little sauce. I mean, I've seen smaller, but this is a pretty little one. Just getting my butter melted right now. And what I'm gonna add is a little bit of chopped garlic, minced garlic, and also some chili flakes. So what this is gonna do, we'll let that butter kind of fry the garlic, fry the chili flakes, almost get a little bit brown and nutty. And again, this will just add a little bit of texture, a little different flavor, a little bit of heat, because we get the spice from the garlic and a little spice from the chili flake, and then like a little bit of delicious, buttery, fat goodness, right? So I figure, waiting anyway, we can do it. A little chopped garlic, all right? Chili flake, I always wait for the day where I like do this and like a tablespoon falls out. I'm just gonna kind of swirl it. And I'm really gonna let this butter brown a little with the garlic. Maybe it won't really crisp all the way up, but if anything, just gives that nutty flavor. That garlic get a little bit toasty and brown too. So when you see the foaming, it lets you know the good stuff's about to happen. All right. And basically what we're doing, you can kind of see it starting to happen. We're letting those milk solids get a little brown, and look, our garlic's starting to get brown. But when it starts foaming, you just gotta watch it. It's like kind of like caramel. If you've ever made caramel sauce, it can get away from you really quick. All right, my garlic looks pretty nice. I'm gonna go ahead and pour this out. Maybe could have taken it a little bit further. I'm happy with that though. I love that kind of golden brown garlic. All right, my eggs are getting close. Oh, that's looking good. This is pretty close. I'm gonna give it maybe 30 seconds. So just a little bit of fresh parsley tonight, nothing fancy. And you know, some folks will sit and take all the leaves off the stem. It's not really necessary. I mean, where we're cutting on this parsley, even if it's got a little stem in there, it's tender. I wouldn't worry about it. All right, y'all ready? Ooh, that looks good. All right, let's plate one of these up, okay? I'm gonna take this guy right here, and I just kind of taking my egg. Oh man, no egg. Oh man.
I mean, these things happen.
We're gonna roll with it. Oops. All right, okay, here we go. We'll put this guy right here. Come back for that other egg action. So we've got our egg. I mean, look at that. Ooh, it's for sure spinning a little this goodness in action on there. And then just hit it up. A little bit of parsley. I mean, that's a great meal right there. And you could have that. I mean, that's a substantial portion. Don't get me wrong. But you could absolutely have that with a little bit of salad, toast. I'm going to take a little quick taste. Oop. I always like this part. And I'm just going to break into it. I mean, y'all, look at that. If that doesn't make you want to like get in on this egg action, I don't know what's going to. Oh my gosh, I almost forgot. Our beautiful, just a little pickled stems in there. Man, all that work, we wouldn't have even enjoyed it. As I look back, I'm starting to realize I dance when I take a bite. It's really good though. I'm getting that little bit of nuttiness from the garlic and get a little bit of heat. The smokiness from the tomatoes, that nice rich egg yolk kind of filtering through. I love the little punch of acid and a little bit of crunch that those pickled stems are doing. This is such like comfort food. Great for a fast dinner, great for brunch. And you know, there's just 2 of you. Use a smaller pan, do half the recipe. It's really easy. You won't be disappointed. Thanks again for joining me. We're here every weekday at noon, and if you can't make the prize cast, go on over to YouTube and subscribe and see us whenever you like. All right, Viva! See y'all next time.